This is me filming with my new camera. I haven't messed around with any of the settings yet or anything like that, but I decided I'd make this video. I was telling Giallo Submarine earlier this month that I probably should have branded myself, marketed myself as the movie virgin. Because what I'm showing here on YouTube is not just my journey into Giallo, but also me watching all these movies that I have never seen that every normal person usually has seen by now. Here's a recap of another month of a movie virgin's first times. March wasn't that crazy busy for me in terms of movie watching, but I got a little bit done. First, it was Zach's pick. And he picked 12 Monkeys. God, that feels like forever ago. Okay, it had Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis in it. It was fine. Not my type of movie, but the acting was cool and everything. Next, I was like, it's time for a disturbing pick. I like to challenge myself with something that's disturbing. As you know, it's usually been cannibal films, but I decided to watch Hostel, which I've never seen. I was in high school and it came out, but it also came out kind of alongside with the Saw series, and people would say well, if you've seen Saw, you don't need to watch Hostel because it's basically the same thing. And I also clearly remember people saying that Hostel's like a porno, and I just never really made my way into watching it. I will say that this is a Hollywood movie, you know, so it depends on what you would call disturbing. This is a lot more accessible and palatable at this time at this stage in my journey in this age than I would have thought. So let's talk about Hostel. So I don't know what I was expecting. I thought it would just be like a torture chamber. Like you're just in a torture chamber. I thought it would be one of those movies where you're just in one room or in one building the whole movie. I thought it would kind of just be a torture session all taking place in one movie. Nobody ever talks about the actual story that goes along with Hostel. So Hostel has a really good story. I was so uneasy. It takes place in, was it Slovakia? Eastern Europe. It's just terrifying. And this story is so good. It is a porno. And it reminded me of God, the 2000s were so toxic. I mean, props to all of us who grew up during that time. It was a really good story, really satisfying ending. I thought the gore and everything was it was fun. The torture and all that was just fun. It wasn't too difficult to watch. I thought it was a great movie. Really good. And I guess that's my first Eli Roth movie, which is weird because I feel like I have an understanding of him, but I haven't even seen his movies. Okay, whatever. Forgive me if I seem weird. This is my first time filming on this camera and everything seems so different. Next, I watched Fresh. I had no idea that Fresh was going to be so similar to Hostel. And I watched them back to back without knowing. Fresh, it was really good. I thought it was really disturbing. It's really disturbing conceptually. They aren't showing you the stuff that's so disturbing, but it's the fact of what's happening is really disturbing. It was a really dark movie. And so it frustrated me that it was marketed so playfully, marketed like a comedy. I'm really picky about merging comedy with horror. I think this movie did not need comedy, even in just its marketing, because it's making light of something that is so dark. It is so disturbing. I thought the movie was really effectively disturbing. And I did like the first third of the movie where it's all about her dating life and everything. The first bad date that she went on was hilarious. And I don't have a problem with that being in the movie, but I just don't like how, they're making light of this movie that's, when they're marketing the movie, they're making light of it. And it's something a little more hard-hitting. I think it should have been marketed like a horror movie, not a funny, quirky cannibal movie. You know what I mean? But I thought Fresh was really good. It really made me thankful to have a butt. It's just there. No one has taken it. It's there. And I am grateful. Next, I rewatched Fatal Frames for that review I did a few videos back. Awesome as always. Next, I rewatched Seven Bloodstained Orchids. I just felt like it. Strangely enough, and that isn't even like in my favorite Jolly list or anything, but I just wanted to revisit it. I like the Half Moon Maniac Killer. Next, I watched Movie Virgin. Watched for the first time Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974. I did that. That's one of the few like classic staple horror movies that I hadn't seen. I liked the gritty, raw look of it. It really kind of felt like a home movie, you know, or a school project. The setting was great. Like you could feel that ambience, feel the humidity, feel the heat. It really was immersive. The characters sucked, except for Franklin. Nobody has a personality. Nobody, you didn't get to know anything about anybody except Franklin. And I thought all the acting was, of the kids anyway, was pretty bad, except for Franklin. Now, Sally grew on me once the fight for her life began, but I was just disappointed with the flat characters. But I thought overall the movie was really unique. It's not like the other classic horror movies that it stands alongside. It's not like Friday the 13th or Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. It's nothing like any of those in any way. And I guess I was kind of expecting it to be. But now that I've watched it and I like have spent some time with it, I think it's really cool. It's a cool flick. Next, this isn't on my Letterboxd because it's too obscure, but I watched a movie that my friend had made several years back called Necro Zombies from Beyond Space. It was cute, it was fun, it was independent. It was kind of like a home movie, but like a lot more elevated than just a home movie, but it was fun. It was just like a silly horror comedy kind of thing. Oh, next, for St. Patrick's Day, we rewatched Boondock Saints. This is only my second time to see Boondock Saints. It's a favorite movie of my husband's. And I think it's really good. That's a good movie. And I can say this now as someone who has really matured and started to understand cinema a bit better. I think it's excellent. It was hard for me to watch the first time I watched it for some reason, but it was better this time. I was more relaxed. Next, we watched Scream 5, aka Scream 2022. I was not expecting much, but I was pleasantly surprised. There were so many like fun thrills, fun jump scares, like twists and turns. Like I screamed out loud a couple times. It was really fun. Loved seeing the old faces come back, but maybe I should make a whole video on this. I don't like how modern horror casts their young people. I think I get why they're doing it. First of all, I like that you're trying to represent all different types of people. Like that I don't have a problem with. What I have a problem with is that everyone looks so plain and boring. All these people look like there's nothing distinct about their faces. If I saw them out on the street, I wouldn't be like, hey, you're that guy from Scream. I'd just be like, it's a dude. I don't like that, you know? When you think about the original Scream and you have Neve Campbell, Rose McGowan, Matthew Lillard, and Skeet Ulrich sitting together, you're like, those are all very distinct, recognizable faces. Like, I'm not asking them to cast the prettiest people ever or anything, but like faces that are distinct in some way. Characters that are distinct in some way. It just feels like these new teen movies are just casting a bunch of nobodies, and not in that they're unknown, but in it's like, who gives a crap about your face? I'm not the most articulate today. I just feel like these are boringly cast, boring faces. I guess they're trying to be like an everyman, trying to cast people that look like me and you, but like, I don't know. That younger generation, they mean nothing to me. Even so, I feel like the casting did not ruin the movie too much. And I will accept Scream 5 into the series. I accept it. Oh my gosh. Next, I watched Short Night of the Glass Dolls. Oh my gosh. That movie messed me up. more people need to be talking about this one. This is a Giallo starring Jean Sorel. Hopefully I said that right. I was shocked. I was shaken to my core. I was deeply disturbed. This made it instantly onto my favorites. This was a 1971. I'm gonna do a whole review on this one because it was so good. This was a 1971 flick. It's very unique. It's not like other Jolly. And the ending is 100% worth it. Moving on, I watched The Devil with Seven Faces. I saw that it stars George Hilton and Carol Baker, and I was like, yes, please. But sadly, it was just not good. It was just what I would call a lackluster Giallo. Just kind of like, oh, okay. It was, I mean, some people don't call it a Giallo. Some people call it like a Euro crime, but it was not that great. Whatever. Next, I watched Ty West's X. I watched a lot of new releases this month. Are you proud of me? So, I think probably a lot of people are going to compare this movie to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I do want to say that my biggest complaint about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Scream 5, X did the opposite of those things. X cast interesting, distinctive people. X developed and established personalities of all of these characters. You got to know them. They looked distinctive and they all had distinctive personalities. And I would like to give the highest praises for those aspects of the movie. The movie was really good. All in all, just really good. Really masterfully done. I love Ty West. I love that he's like made this huge, this is a huge movie because I feel like a lot of his movies are a lot more low key. But this was very layered. It was a big movie. It was a big old layer cake. I'm kind of at a loss for words on this, but I liked X a lot. It was really fun, and I still love Ty West. I have more detailed reviews on all of these movies on my Letterboxd. Oh, and finally, I did not end very strong. I visited my grandparents, and my granddad and I like to watch movies if we can find one that, you know, doesn't have a sex scene in it. So he picked Cry Macho, which is a Clint Eastwood movie. It was cute. It felt very much like a TV family movie. It was a like heartwarming tale, but it had like a lot of cussing in it. So I guess that made it PG-13, which was weird. But Clint Eastwood was precious, and apparently he's like 90 in this movie, and he directed it, so that's pretty cool. That was fun, and I would recommend it if you want to like awkwardly watch a movie with someone who is perhaps in a different generation or does not have the same taste as you. So if you're watching with your parents or your grandparents, whatever, like, it's decent. So that's all for my movies. I've been revisiting some old cartoons on Disney Plus, like cartoons that I used to watch as a kid. I already told you I watched Recess and loved Recess. I tried Doug, Disney's Doug. I don't like that anymore. And now I'm in Pepper Ann, and I still love Pepper Ann, though. It's really good. And I read 2 books this month. So I wanted to tell you about those. I read Capitalist Realism by Mark Fisher. Obviously nonfiction, just kind of exploring and commenting on capitalism and how it's affected a whole bunch of other aspects of our lives. And that was awesome. And then I read The Five by Robert McCammon. I haven't really read that many horror novels. Apparently this is a horror novel. I've read like Stephen King and Ira Levin, but I'm not really sure like how it was a horror novel, but I thought it was really good. I eventually got really into it. It's about this like rock band. They're on tour, and this veteran has decided he wants to snipe them all. So he stalks them and starts like trying to kill them. And it's just the story of that journey. It's just been a long time since I've read some fiction, so it was fun getting back into it and like getting back into the groove of reading. So every month I'm trying to watch a must-see. So I did Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm trying to watch a new release. I did like 3 of those. I want to do a Giallo. I did that. And then I want to do something disturbing, and I did that. and hope I want to sprinkle in a documentary, but we'll try again this month. Okay, I'm not on the top of my game today, and I'm also using this new camera, so hope this came out good. Let me know what you watched this month, and I'll see you next time. The movie version will return. Bye.